Welcome to WVTC TV Network, capturing family moments in real time, bringing families closer together from the comforts of home. We are unleashing something different to the world. Start your subscription today for the low price of $4.99 per month or $55 annually. Go to www.wvtctvnetwork.com to sign up today. WVTC TV Network is streaming live on 8 different platforms. You can easily download the WVTC TV Network app on the Apple Store, Play Store, Roku, Fire TV, and more. Here at WVTC TV, we have access to movies that everyone can enjoy, including independent films, Sons of a Preacher and a Good Thing, Treasures of Life, the epic drama, The Passion of the Christ, and the box office hit Madagascar Escape to Africa. Remember, go to www.wvtctvnetwork.com and sign up today.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am Edward Jones. You are
Latanya Jones.
And this is the Family First podcast, where we come together and talk about relationships, about marriage and children, and sometimes nothing at all. And so we are so happy to be with you again on today. A beautiful day today, a beautiful February day,
Yes.
especially after we've had all of that tough weather in the last couple of days. So it was pretty much a good day today.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk today and let you guys join in with us and listen in with us as we have our discussion today. And what we're going to talk about today is having relationship or being in relationship with purpose, being married with purpose, being in relationships with purpose. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that we're not together just to be together. A lot of relationships, a lot of people end up being together just because it's something to do. And there's really no purpose in it. Or we have people that are in relationships and one has something in mind and the other person has something else in mind, and it never comes together right. And so they don't have the same purpose in the relationship. The Bible tells us that how can two walk together
Unless they agree.
And so how do we make sure that we are walking together in purpose, making sure that we're walking in the same direction, making sure that that we are in relationship together, going to the same place at the same time. There's a saying that says, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. And a lot of our relationships, they kind of twist in the wind. They're not really going anywhere and anything like that. So I really wanted to talk about purpose in our relationships and things of that nature. And so I wanted to start off by saying the very first relationship, Adam and Eve. God gave Adam purpose before he gave him a mate. He told, God created everything, and then he said, then he created Adam. He said, hey, Adam, I want you to name all these animals. I want you to do all this stuff. And so Adam is in his purpose. And as Adam is fulfilling his purpose, God says, wait a second, it ain't good that he's by himself while he's doing this. Let me give him somebody. And I think uh, that is a template that we should follow, that we should be pursuing our purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then God will give us individuals that will help us in our purpose, to push us in our purpose, and that we fulfill purpose in ourselves, and fulfill purpose together. What do you think about that? Do you think that's true? What do you think about that?
I agree. I agree. I think as an individual, you should start to, at least you should know what your purpose is. Some people don't though.
Yeah.
So that's the truth. And so of course they'll go any direction because they don't know. And they'll find themselves in relationships that are not leading anywhere because they don't have any sense of purpose. So I agree that having just a sense of purpose, I think that's where you need to start and then go from there.
That's good, because we all need to know what we bring to the table.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
We need to bring more to the table than good looks. You know, he got nice eyes. You know, she got a nice build. We got to bring more to the table than that. What is your purpose? How am I helping you fulfill your purpose? How can you help me fulfill my purpose? And if we don't know our individual purposes, then we're gonna walk around
spinning your wheels,
going around and around and around, and we wonder why our relationships are unfulfilled, and we try to find fulfillment in the other person. And relationships and marriage was never meant, I don't believe, to be the end all.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, a lot of little girls, their goal is to be married. But then once they're married, then what?
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
The goal is to have a relationship, but the relationship is not an end in itself. It is something to help you do what you're called to do. And I think about all the time how you help me do what I do. You bring so much to the table in terms of ministry. If you never grab a microphone, if you're never in front of the people or things like that, if you never go on a ministry trip with me or anything like that, you bring so much value to the ministry so that I'm effective. Okay. And vice versa. I try to add value to your life and to your ministry and to what you're trying to do. So give me some hints on how to not trying just to find the right person, but how do you be the right person? Because how you find purpose in yourself, because you can't help anybody else if you don't know who you are.
Well, just thinking about what you just were saying in terms of how I help you with ministry and things like that. I remember when we first met, and when we getting to know each other, and I knew right off the bat what your desire and just what you wanted to do in life was ministry. I mean, I knew that right off the bat. And so there was no secret that this is your life. This is what you do. This is what you will be doing. That's it. And that's all. And so then the thing for me was, okay, how, as I'm dating you, and then I knew, later that I was going to be your wife, how can I help you with that? What does that look like? Because of course I had dated a pastor before, someone in ministry. So this was new. And so it took a lot of prayer, asking God, okay, what do I do? Because I don't know. And so as we began to be together, we were married. And as time is going, I'm learning, okay, well, this is what you need to be able to accomplish your goal.
Yeah.
And so, okay, I need to pray for you. I need to make sure that you have the different things that you need at home. I need to make sure that it's a calm house at home. I need to make sure in ministry, how can I, come alongside you and actually be a support. So all of those things come, and I think as the years have gone, I've gotten better.
And I've gotten better. Yeah.
Right. But I think it's really being able to see and just identify, okay, these are the things that I can do to help you. I'm here to be your helpmate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my job is to help you.
Help, not hinder. Right.
Help you, you know. And there have been times when I've even said, okay, well, help me help you.
Right.
What do you need?
That's good.
You know.
And that is so true. That's so important that if we don't know who we are,
right,
then we can't help our mates help us.
Mm-hmm.
And that is we have to know who we are as individuals,
yes,
before we know who we are as a couple, and see those things in one another, so that we can help and not necessarily have to be told. We can just move. And one of the things, and we help each other on in different ways, because, like, for example, you are a doer. You are a doer. Point me in a direction and I'll do. But you have more in you than that. And so my job is to help you tell people what to do instead of doing everything.
Right.
You know, and to grow in those skills. And I've seen you grow because it's in you. Just needed to be sharpened. And I believe that we're a good ministry team. We balance each other out greatly. And in relationships, and you mentioned something before about, just as dating and trying to, figure that out. That is something that is so important from the jump. And good to see you on, Mary, and good to see you on tonight. We need to figure out in the dating stages, if I have what it takes to add to that individual, or do I want that? Because a lot of times in relationships, we play games and pretend that we want the same thing, and we really don't. So when you realize, okay, this is a preacher, you had to make the choice. Is this what do I want to walk in that, or do I not? And then not, I'm gonna say I want to, but not really want to. There are a lot of relationships on both sides with men and women, and they come in and say, the lady said, coming into the relationship, she knows she want to be married. And he's thinking, I just want to have fun. And they aren't on the same level, and their purposes are different. And because of that, you get into these relationships. They're together for 5, 6, 7 years. She's still waiting to get married, and she's getting frustrated. And he's good because he's getting what he doesn't have any any desire to get married. So he's happy. She's frustrated.
Right.
And so what kind of conversations do we have to make sure that we're on the same page, even going into the relationships and walking in agreement, going in the same direction?
Well, you have to be honest first with yourself and what you want.
Yeah.
And you can't be afraid to be able to express and say, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm desiring. I desire to be married. And if you know that man does not have the desire at all,
regardless of how pretty his eyes are,
regardless of how cute he is, right? Regardless of how handsome he is, then you need to move on, because you can't force someone who doesn't want the same things that you want. And oftentimes with women, that happens quite often. Well, if I just do this, or if I change this, I think I can make it happen. No, that's not a good idea to do. I think it starts with knowing first and being honest with yourself to be able to say, this is what I want. And it's okay to want something. It's okay to want to be and desire to be married.
Yeah.
And if that's not your desire, that's okay too.
Right.
So, but you have to be honest with yourself And then you have to be honest with that other person.
Right. And what we see a lot is people get in relationships and there are 2 or 3 or 4 kids in later, and the woman is, okay, I'm giving you these 3 kids when we get married.
Mm-hmm.
And the man is saying, I ain't never, shoot, we good enough right now.
Yeah.
Why do we need to get married?
Right.
That marriage is just a piece of paper.
Right.
If you would have known that, now you stuck.
Right.
And so we have to be honest with one another, regardless of where you desire to be. Be honest with one another.
Yeah, that's important.
Because to be honest, everybody don't want to be married.
Right.
And so if we're in a relationship and we're just gonna be forever friends, but we got to keep it holy.
Right.
If we just gonna be friends, I'm not trying to date. I don't want any of that. Say that up front. And because you don't want to waste people's time.
Right.
Right. And you don't, and you could be blocking, somebody else that's ready to give that other person
that
time and what they desire.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, for example, you can want to be married, but maybe you don't want to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person wants to get
Gotta
kids.
be upfront about that.
Let's be upfront. Don't wait till you get married to have or don't wait until the premarital counseling to find out that you don't want kids.
Right.
You don't want children. And sometimes people find that out too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are certain things that we need to find out in the beginning. And to find out what are the non-negotiables, what can we talk about, what can we negotiate about, what are some of the things that I really hadn't thought about it that we need to sit down and figure out. Let's talk about this.
Because there's no thing as a perfect mate.
No.
And I hear people. I'm
perfect. You see that? Oh, you see that? She about to beat me, y'all. She about to beat me. Save me, Matthew. Save me, Matthew.
No. But it's true that people feel I'm just waiting for the perfect man, or I'm just waiting for the perfect woman, or I'm just waiting for the perfect time, or I'm just waiting.
And you ain't perfect.
No one is perfect.
Right. How you gonna wait for the perfect somebody and you not perfect?
Yeah,
because you gonna mess them up.
Yeah, there's no such thing. But here is the thing. And even being in a place like we're talking about purpose and knowing your purpose, you actually might be in a place where you probably don't 100% know your purpose. Guess what? That's okay too.
Yeah.
That's okay. You're probably still in a season in your life where you're still trying to figure it out. You know a little bit, maybe you have a part of the picture, but you don't have the whole picture there. But that's okay, because then when you are with a mate who's able to help you, right, pull those things out of you, now that makes all the difference. And as long as, say, you're the type of person, well, I'm a doer, I'm an encourager, these are all the things that you need. And then at the same time, you're the person, I'm gonna pull this stuff, I'm an encourager, I'm gonna challenge you. And so then we complement each other.
Right.
And those things you can definitely find out early on in the beginning of the relationship, as you're having conversation, as you're talking. Are they goal oriented?
Yeah.
Do they have goals and desires and things that they actually, want to do? Again, maybe they're just not sure yet, and they need a little help with that, and that's okay. But they have a desire to do something.
Right.
That means a lot.
It does. And Bishop Randall is on. He's the one who created our intro and our outro music. Thank you for being on. But it's so important that we find those things out. And let me give you some hints as to what you can do in the relationship. One of the things that it seems like it's just basic, but you got to talk.
Yeah.
You got to have conversations. A lot of times in our relationships and our dating, we do things where we don't talk. let's go to the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, y'all spent time together and you went to the movies, but you're not talking in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe talking a little bit in the car there and in the car back. You're not talking in the movies. Let's go. You know what? Let's go get something to eat. Let's go eat. Well, you're not talking a whole lot in those situations. You have to really talk.
Be intentional about
Be
it.
intentional about that. So you have to have a purpose. So you know what? You need to make a list of the things that that are important to you that you feel that are important to you in a relationship. Do you want kids? Do you what kind of career do you want to do? Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to live in the suburbs? You have to talk out these things so that at least you find out where the other person is and where it's coming from. We were kind of forced to do that because we were long distance. You know, in the time before there was no FaceTime, there was no you know,
just high phone bills.
Just high phone bills. You know, AT&T.
Yes.
You know, free after 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And so since we were long distance, we were forced to talk and have those conversations and be intentional about listening, because once again, I couldn't see you as you were talking. I had to really listen and pay attention. We had to pay attention to each other, and we couldn't just have fluffy conversations.
Yeah.
You know, we had to have real conversations. And so I think we're afraid to talk to people because of what it might reveal about us and what it might tell us about the other person. Maybe we are so physically attracted to someone that we don't want to hear or know that there's something that might be wrong with them, or something that might not flow with where we're going in life. Because just to be honest, we are so trapped and moved by what we see, what we feel, by our senses. And I'm blessed because you just as beautiful today as you were when I first met you. But it fades. That stuff fades, you know, as time goes on. And you have to understand, what is the real person that you like, do I like this person? Are we going in the same direction spiritually? Are we on the same plane? You could be as fine as ever, but if on the spiritual level, we believe two different things.
Yeah,
we can't go in the same direction.
That's the issue.
So we have to have those conversations and not be scared. So when we're dating, we date with a purpose.
Yeah.
And our marriage is about purpose. How do we fulfill, because God has a plan for you as an individual. He has a plan for me as an individual. Then he has a plan for us as a couple. And sometimes we get so tied into what God has for us as a couple that we forget God's individual plans and purposes for us, or vice versa. We go on our own tangents and we forget about what God has to do with the both of us.
Yeah, I agree. It's more than just being fruitful and multiplying.
Yes.
Which we've done that.
We've done that.
We've done that.
5 kids. Yes,
we've done that.
Yeah.
But it's more to that. And I think about how when I got married, a lot of things opened up for me individually, though.
Yeah.
So definitely some great things happened for us as a married couple, but individually, I was able to go back to school, get my degree. Degrees plural.
There we go.
And so that was awesome. That was something that I never saw myself doing beforehand, because I just thought, okay, it didn't happen right away. It's not going to happen, but it happened. It's like, wow. And so seeing myself move into the things that I have just dreamed about
Mhm.
was amazing. But vice versa, seeing you, going through and doing the things that you said 20 years ago that you were going to do
Mhm.
is a blessing. So it's a wonderful thing when you can push, encourage, and support your spouse into what it is that God has for them, and
Mhm.
and have that happen vice versa. um I think that's just a huge part of what marriage
Mhm.
is about.
Yeah.
It's about what we do individually, but then also what we can do together, again, being that team.
Yeah.
This is how we support each other. And sometimes it's me pushing you and like, no, you need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you really need to do.
Mhm.
And then you're doing the same thing for me. And you like, okay, how come you have
Right.
how come you haven't done that yet? And holding each other accountable.
That's good. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. And I believe that it starts before you're married. Uh,
Hmm.
uh, you you got to do this stuff before you're married. We just didn't get married and then we started doing it.
Right.
We were encouraging one another, pushing one another
Hmm.
before we got married. Uh, uh, I'm thinking about the time we were dating. It was long distance, and you got a flat tire,
Hmm.
and um, and I kind of fussed at you a little bit,
Yeah, you did.
because there are just some things that I felt that you should have done,
Hmm.
um, but it was because you know you to be where you are and what you're doing, you got to know this. You have to do this, and there are plenty of times that you got me together and
Hmm.
before we got married. And but that is good.
Hmm.
Sometimes in our relationships, we have to do those things uh, uh, before we do those things before we get married, so that it's not a shock. Just imagine if I never encouraged you
Hmm.
uh, urgently
Hmm.
before we got married.
Hmm.
Then we get married, and then this comes up. It's like, wait a second, dude, who you think you is?
Right.
You know,
Right.
or vice versa. We have to be uh, open with one another. We have to push one another toward their purpose.
Hmm.
Uh, and my belief is that I can't be all that I need to be
Hmm.
if you're not all that you need to be.
Yeah.
And because you being all you need to be is going to help me,
Hmm.
and vice versa. And I think that is the nature of relationships. Uh, that's why you have to find individuals, take the time and find individuals, an individual that will push you to be your best.
Yeah, that you can build with. We
Yeah.
can come together and we can build. Again, you're not a finished product. Because again, I think sometimes when people are looking to be married or even date, they're looking for this finished product.
That's good.
They're looking for you to already be done and okay now, and then you bring that, and then I come and I'm supposed to be finished, and then but that's really not
No,
how it works.
right. Very rarely is that
Very
two
rarely,
two
yeah.
finished
Yeah,
products that got it all. That's very
yeah,
rarely
yeah.
happens.
That's not how it works. And so I think if we can become okay with, yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not a finished product yet, but I'm looking for someone who I can build with
Right.
and grow with.
Because to be completely honest, if I got it all together by myself,
Hmm.
what I need you for?
Right,
If you got it all together by yourself, what you need me for?
right.
And I know that flies in the face of a lot of people. I don't want somebody that I need. I want somebody that I want that I can do with or I can do without. No, I need this woman.
Right.
I need you.
Yeah.
And we in our day and time, I think that we have become so self-sufficient
Mm-hmm.
that we've forgotten how to need one another.
Right.
And
God didn't design us to be that way.
no,
Right.
no. That's why we're in relationship. That's why we're in faith communities and churches.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't design us to be by ourselves in anything.
Right.
Because we need each other to encourage. The Bible says two is better than one.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the part where it says, because if one's by himself, how can he keep himself warm?
Right.
Right.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold. It's cold. It's cold. These
Right.
last couple of weeks, cold.
Right.
But we need one another, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we need to get back to the days where men and women need one another.
Mm-hmm.
We're not adversarial
Mm-hmm.
toward one another.
Mm-hmm.
That women don't look at men as paychecks or money or outfits, or our relationships have become so transactional.
Yeah.
And let us get back to actually needing
Mm-hmm.
one another. A transaction, there isn't anything, there's no emotion in a transaction.
There's no connection there.
There's no connection in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what we need from one another. I think that's what we're missing. I think that's what our community, our African American community, is missing. We've forgotten that.
Mm-hmm.
We've forgotten how to need one another.
Mm-hmm.
We've forgotten how to care for one another. We've glamorized independence.
Mm-hmm.
We've glamorized, things versus people.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll step over people to get things. I'll use people to get things. I'll use you to get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And that is different than trying to build together and saying, I can't live without you.
Right.
And when I say I can't live without you, it's not in a smothering way.
Right.
Is that, but you bring so much value. Yeah.
To survive.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Wasn't
That's
that a
song.
So it's value. There's so much
Right.
value.
Right.
But you bring so much value.
Right.
If you were gone, I would lose that. My life would lose value. So yeah, Octavia, you better need your husband. Your husband is my line brother. That's my shit. And so that is that's so important, that we need one another. Stop thinking that you don't need nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need no man. I don't need no woman. That's why you by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you and that's why you have so many issues with the one you have, because you feel like you don't need them.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
And if we are, once again, if we're at one another, we're not really fulfilling the purpose of why God brought us together. And sometimes we need to pray about, Lord, what is our purpose together?
Right.
When is the last time you and your significant other just said, Lord, what is your will for us together? I think I know what your plan for me is as an individual. She knows what her plan is as an individual. But what is our plan? What's your plan for us together? And I mean, the fact that we're sitting here, this is part of God's plan for us together.
Right.
And we had to get to the point where we could do this.
Right.
And we had to develop some stuff, but this is part of God's plan for us together. But this does not overshadow what God has for you individually or what he has for me individually. Right. And we have to celebrate each
other. Yeah.
each other's successes.
Because we complement
Yeah.
each other,
Yeah.
what we do.
Yeah.
And what I do is going to benefit you and vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it would be really good for me to support you and help you and encourage you rather, in what it is that God has for you and vice versa, because by doing that, we're helping each other.
Yeah.
We're helping each other. So I think that's a way that people have to really start to think, instead of thinking about, well, what am I trying to do? It's all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a relationship, it can't be all about you.
Yeah.
It has to be, again, like I say to you sometimes, hey, I'm your helpmate. God sent me to be your helpmate.
Mm-hmm.
So help me help you.
That's right.
How can I help you? What do I need to do to help you get to where you're trying to go?
Yeah.
And again, vice versa. And we're able to do that, for each other.
And I think, and that's because we realize
Mhm.
that that we're on the same team.
Right.
And we realize that I realize that you don't want any harm to come my way.
Right.
So you're not going to tell me anything that's going to harm me. You're encouraging me to do something that's going to help me,
Mhm.
and vice versa. So many times in our relationships, we see ourselves as adversaries. One has to have the one up on the other. One has to be the important or the loudest voice, when we're teammates.
Mhm.
We're on the same side. But once again, we have to understand our purpose. Talk it out. Understand what the other needs, what the other's dreams are. When's the last time you asked your significant other, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, what are your dreams?
Right.
What do you want to achieve?
Yeah. Yeah.
And how can I help you
Get there?
Mm-hmm. And I believe that would spark so much in our relationships if we ask that question.
Mm-hmm.
How can I help you? Or you identify in past conversations,
Mm-hmm.
what the other person desires and wants to do, and then you move to move them forward
Mm-hmm.
in those things.
Right.
And that is what we really, really, really need to do in our relationships. I'm so tickled that when I'm always bugging you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they talk about how wives nag husbands. I nag you. I nag you a lot.
Mm-hmm.
About lately I've been nagging you about your doctorate. That's what I've been nagging you about. I've been nagging.
Yes,
Yeah.
nagging.
I've been nagging her. But it's because I know your dream.
Mm-hmm.
I know your potential. I know your desire. I know your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so my nagging you is to continue to push you towards your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so to not let you be comfortable, because some of us, we get comfortable in our last accomplishment.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So the good thing about knowing your mate's purpose is that you can push them into it.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like you said earlier, you can keep them accountable.
Mm-hmm.
You know my purpose, so
Mm-hmm.
you push me.
Yep.
You make sure that I'm on square. You make sure that I'm doing things that feeds my purpose, and not doing things that would starve my purpose.
Right.
And that is so important. And it trickles down to our children.
Absolutely.
And in our relationship with our children, we've watched them, and we try to feed their purposes, and try to keep them in line the same way. And they watch us. And so I think that works a little bit. I think it's been working
a
little bit with
yeah. I just think we have just, and I know I have developed just that purpose driven mindset. There's a reason, for us to be together. This is, I always tell people, know your why when you're doing something. Know your why. Because your why is what's going to keep you. Your why is what's going to hold you when those difficult times come and you are struggling and you trying to figure it out. But when you remember your why, your
why.
purpose, then okay, I can deal with this. I can get through this because there is a purpose on the other end, of that. And I think that has always been something, even in our relationship, that when the things get tough, we have struggles, but we have purpose.
That's good.
There's a reason why that God connected us together. I mean, I'm in California, you in Chicago. There was a reason why God connected us the way that he connected us. And so that I hold on to that. And it keeps me going. It gives me the feel necessary to keep going and realizing that even now, 22 years of marriage, we are not there yet.
Not there.
We still got a long way to go.
We still got a long way. And so that is so good. When you understand purpose, it will allow you to move past feelings.
Oh yeah. Because sometimes you're not gonna feel like it.
Sometimes in marriage you don't feel like it.
Yeah.
In relationships you don't feel like it.
Right.
But purpose supersedes feeling.
Yeah.
Your purpose is a fact. God put you on this earth to fulfill a purpose. There's a fact that he has you here for. You are a fact. And so the purpose for you as an individual, the purpose as a couple will supersede our feelings, because feelings are subject to change. Come on, somebody. Feelings, and that's something that we understand. We realize that feelings are subject to change. And so we cannot be governed by our feelings. And so that's why we can, in understanding our why and our purpose, we say, okay, let me take a break from my feelings and let me recount, okay, the fact. The fact is, this is why we're together. The fact is, I'm not going nowhere. The fact is, you're not going nowhere.
Right.
The fact is, if you get tired of me, go take a nap.
That's it.
That's how it is. We're gonna work it out again tomorrow.
Right.
But because there is a purpose, and we will not shortchange the purpose that God has for us.
Right.
And I believe that is so important for us to realize that God has a purpose for our relationship. God, and God wants to get the glory out of our relationship. And
you can say that about friendships too.
Yes. And when I say out of our relationships, all of our relationships with our significant others, male, female relationships, with our friends, with our relatives, all of our relationships, God wants to get the glory out of it. And if we keep that at the forefront, then we'll always be on purpose. We'll always be able to walk together. We'll always be in agreement. We won't just walk. We won't be in a wandering around in a desert, because we're focused on a destination. And the worst thing for me is to see individuals in a relationship and they don't understand why.
Yeah.
Why
it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. What are you in a relationship? Yeah, we're together. Why? Why are you together? I don't know. It's something to do. Or you're in a relationship because you are afraid of being by yourself.
That's even worse.
That's what, and that's, there's no purpose of you two being together other than you not being by yourself.
Right.
And so that causes unhealthy relationships because you put more on. So then you're not fulfilling a purpose together. All you're doing is having a security blanket, for you and your insecurities of being alone. There has to be a purpose behind your relationship. Every couple should be a power couple.
Every.
Let me say that again. Let me talk into this camera right here.
Every
couple should be a power couple because every couple has purpose.
Everyone.
Every couple has purpose. Every couple has potential. Potential. That's power. Potential is unrealized power.
Right.
So the two of you together has something that the world has never seen before.
Yeah.
The two of you together has something that neither one of you could have done by yourselves.
Right.
The two of you together. So we need to get on the same page, find someone. And once again, if you are seeing or realizing that you and that other person are not on the same page, and this is for people that are not yet married.
Right.
Let me make this completely clear. If you are not yet married and you're realizing that you are not going in the same direction, it's okay to pull on the bus, you pull the bell and the bus stop.
Go ahead on, get off.
And get off. It's okay.
Don't stay on the bus.
But don't, and you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, don't stay on the bus.
Get off. Get off. Get off at this stop, that next stop, and get on the right. Because what is funny, when I used to ride the bus, when I was younger, I went to Brother Rice High School, and I used to catch the bus, the Halsted. And so there were a couple of buses that came down Halsted from the station. Now, they all started at 95th Street, but they went different lengths. And if I needed to go to the south suburbs, I couldn't get on the 108. I don't know if it's still the 108, but I had to get on that 352. I had to get on that to get out to the south suburbs, or vice versa. Some buses they start going in the right direction, then they turn, and if you're not paying attention, you catch the wrong bus. We have to know where we're going.
Yeah,
because if you don't know where you're going, you're going to get on the wrong bus. And then you're gonna be like, how did I get here? And then you're gonna have to get off, and then you're gonna have to wait. It's gonna take time for the right bus to come.
Right.
And those are relationships. Time is precious.
Yes,
our relationships are precious. And so
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to waste time. God has a plan for you. He has a purpose for you. And what we need to do is to be on purpose for him as quickly as possible with whom he wants us in relationship with, so that we can be as individuals, and all we can be as a couple.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
That's important. This is good.
it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I have you as a teammate.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm glad that
You all right sometimes.
Yeah, you'll do. You'll do.
You all right sometimes.
You'll do. Every now and again, you make me say, "Man, Jones, you made a good choice." Every once in a while.
You not so bad.
I ain't so bad.
Not so bad.
Okay.
Not so bad.
Well, as long as you're smiling and not crying.
No.
Yeah.
No. I think I still reflect on our beginnings. And I just knew the type of person that you were, because you sent me books.
Yes. Hey, when right? Hey, let her know this is the direction I'm going.
That was my first gift.
Yes.
Were 3 books.
Yes.
That he mailed to me from Chicago to California, and I'll never forget that.
This is the direction we're going.
Yes.
And so we got to be open and honest. This is the direction. And if you don't want to, hey, that's fine.
Yes.
And we have to be okay with individuals saying, no, this is not the ride that I want to take.
Right.
This is not the route that I want to take.
Right.
And it's okay, because when I'd rather that person say no, and so the person that I'm supposed to ride with, is not taking up their seat.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So I want the right person sitting next to me on this ride.
We were very intentional. It was very intentional from day one. It wasn't no and I mean, we were still young in our 20s.
Yeah.
But we were very intentional about, what we wanted and what we were looking for. It wasn't any secret, wanting to be married, and this is what we wanted. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna wait a few years. What we met in March?
Yeah.
And we were actually married that following January.
Yeah.
So it was not a long courtship,
but we're intentional.
It
wasn't long, but it was strong.
Yeah.
Because it was like, when you in college, they have some of those intercession class where they're intensives, where it's what normally is an entire semester, you condense it into a couple of weeks. That's how our relationship was. We had the same content, we just condensed it, and we were just real strong with it. And so
people thought we were crazy. But
yeah.
Okay.
And we still married, and they doing whatever they doing with, on their 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th wife and husband, and we together.
But God is good.
Yeah,
and I hope that this conversation has been helpful.
Yeah.
To give you all some tips and as we kind of open up and kind of share of ourselves and give some insight of some things that we've been through, and understand everything that we talk about are things that we have already done. And so we're definitely just not saying stuff to say.
We're not saying what we heard. We're saying what we know.
Yeah, so, definitely.
So that's where we're going to put a pin in it.
Yes.
That's where we're going to put a pin in it. And so this is where we're going to be. We'll put a pin in until next week, till next Tuesday.
Yes.
If you want to see us again before next Tuesday, come and see us on Sunday. Come see us on Sunday, where we are at Grace Missionary Baptist Church at 16650 Crawford Avenue in Markham, Illinois, right on the corner of 167th and Pulaski, right across the street from the Walmart, the movie theater, and all that good stuff. Yes. Grace Missionary Baptist Church, the Grace Station, where we are transforming lives
and building the
kingdom. And so until next time, I'm Edward Jones.
I'm LaTanya Jones.
And this is the Family Phrst podcast. See you again next week.
Go to your Apple or Google Play Store and download the WVTC Gospel Radio app today. You can also say, Alexa, play WVTC Radio Skills.
Would you like to play WVTC Radio Network?
Absolutely. Download it today.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ. WVTC Allsip Chicago. An iNetworks communication station.